What's going on? My name is Duncan Winslow. I'm a middle school orchestra teacher and also a music producer and DJ that slightly tours. And this is how I balance it. Let's talk a little bit. So, when I'm not in the classroom, molding young minds to learn string instruments, the violin, the viola, the cello, Mr. Winslow, my hand hurts. And then on the weekends, outside of school, I make these kind of videos. I tour loosely, going to different places. It's kind of like I live two lives. I have Mr. Winslow, the teacher. My kids know. Kids, you're watching this video, instead of doing your playing test, you should probably get back to work. And then there's Winslow, who's the DJ, the music producer, the creative, the video content maker, the whatever, you know. There's somewhat of a cross because for me, it's both music. It's both what I love. I love teaching. I love teaching music. I love orchestra. That's kind of why I'm here at this point, because in the third grade I was like, I'm gonna play the violin I have no idea what that is. And then the next year I was like, I'm gonna switch to viola because I have no idea what that is. And then 21 years later, here I am teaching the same thing. It's weird. I get a lot of, so what do you do? It's like, well, I'm a music teacher. It's like, that's all you do? Or most people like stop there, because like, if you're a teacher, oh, bless your heart, you know, you're such a hero. It's like, yeah, I kind of am. The kids these days are just, well, they know how they are. Actually, they don't. That's the beauty of middle school. They have no idea how they are. Anyway, that's not the point. From 5 a.m. to about 3 o'clock, I'm Mr. Winslow. From the moment I wake up, hit my snooze button, hit it again, then finally get out of bed, get dressed, go to work, be Mr. Winslow. It's fun. I love it. That's a different video. That's not the point. And then once I get off work, I come back here, lay around, watch some episodes of something, and then I jump into this thing. This being the creative. How I balance the two is tricky. I don't know if it's all that tricky, because I'm not touring and playing shows like every weekend, because that would be exhausting. I did 3 weekends in a row once and I was like, never again. But the thing is, I do what I can with the time I have. So ideally what I do is just keep work at work and keep the creative time, my creative time. And that would mean just really kind of staying focused and being disciplined, all things I personally need to work on, because I probably wouldn't be so exhausted. Because when I'm thinking of like release campaigns and video ideas, 5 minutes before I have to turn Mr. Winslow on and be the teacher for an hour, that's exhausting. But if I keep them separate, then I'd probably be all right. Because as soon as I get home, I like detach from Mr. Winslow and I can get here, be creative, make tunes. Sounds easy enough, right? I gotta split both. I have to be Mr. Winslow, then I have to be Winslow or Duncan or whatever. But I can't try and be all three at the same time. You know what I mean if you have gone through anything like this, where you're trying to do one thing and then do the other. It's like the movie trope of taking 2 dates to the middle school dance and trying to do both without them seeing each other. It never works out.
Hey.
I don't know. But to stay on top of like my creative projects and stuff, I usually try and sketch a bit every week, every day. Every week and every day. I just try to stay productive. I try to stay on things, you know, keep the practice up. Just the sitting down, opening up my DAW, tap, 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 coming up with, you know, drum breaks or any kind of samples or any kind of ideas. So when the weekend comes around, I can just like wake up, coffee, tea, whatever you want to, bam, right into it, just get started. And usually if I stick to that kind of schedule, I stay pretty productive to the point where, you know, things happen, like projects come to be, tunes turn into more than just a 16-bar loop I've been listening to for weeks. Basically, there's something coming out of me personally. Like I need that end goal or that end result of I did something that turned into a finished product or a finished song or finished video or finished graphic or whatever that is. I need that. Even though I also love the, you know, the journey. You know, it's not the destination, it's the journey. For me, it's both, because time is minimal. You just have to stay focused, disciplined. I think keeping notes, even if you're not like a serious note taker, just like I want this thing, I want this thing, just like make a quick thing. So if I were to do it right now, what would I write? I want to have at least 2 or 3 sketches a week that I can dive into on the weekend. Not finish, just to dive into, because after a couple weeks, a month or two, when it sounds like, hey, let's put a new EP together for Hospital or something else, I can be like, I have this sketch and this sketch and this sketch that are like pretty much there, dive right in, finish them up, boom. But it leaves me with something. 2 is just don't let more than 2 days go without flexing a creative muscle. Like, I'm not much of an artist drawing, but I like drawing. I can play some instruments, just practice. I don't really have to mess around with this because it kind of all keeps things going for me. Personally, it might not work out for you. Maybe you need to specifically do this, this, and this. But like me, if I grab my viola, play a couple scales, work through a piece I'm trying to learn, creatively that satisfies me enough. It's not like I'm full off the satisfaction. It's like, no, I want to do this. I want to make a tune. I want to have a block of 10 hours to make a tune, go get lunch, go to bed, take a nap. I don't know, something. That freedom, that side of freedom. But I also know, full-time job, I still love teaching. I compartmentalize the things so I can keep both going, because you can try to do all of both and all that leads to is burnout. And I've been there plenty of times. I don't really like the feeling. Every now and then I do take a schedule break, meaning, all right, I'm just not going to work on things. And that's really hard for me. If I'm just sitting around and I know I can be tweaking a drum break endlessly, I just feel like I'm wasting my time. But I still know I need to take a break. What do you think? What do you do? Like, I'm just one person. I watch a lot of other people on YouTube. I talk to a lot of friends, like, how do they balance it? Like, it's very much a creative constant and maybe a creative struggle to always have to balance 2 things, full-time, part-time job, and your creative thing. Because I could be completely self-sufficient on music, but it's a risk like anything. And in another video, way in the future probably, I'll probably talk about, oh, I'm not teaching anymore. I'm just music full-time. Let's see how this goes. Music and YouTube and whatever. Because I mean, ideally, if I'm really being honest with myself, if I could just be creative 23/7, give me an hour for a nap and a burrito, pet the cat a little bit, I'll be good. And then the other 23 hours, I'm just like on it. That's a joke. We just talked about burnout. I could never sustain that. So we'll see how time goes on. But I hope this gave you a little bit of insight in how I balance things. Mr. Winslow, Duncan is the whole thing, and then Winslow's over here, and it's like it intermingles, and it's a, yeah, but it's fun, you know. I could be in much worse predicament. I don't know. I'm thankful for this stage of my life that I work towards. But it's always about kind of finding what works, what doesn't, just changing, developing as a human being. And that's why we're all here, to be human beings. Anyway, I'm Winslow. I'll continue to be Winslow. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.